Hello and good evening, everyone. So excited to have you here and welcome you all to quite a few teams on here tonight because we have a very, very special guest. We have our uh, General Manager of Australia and New Zealand here with us. And we are so excited to be able to just welcome you here to our team training because you have so many just amazing nuggets. So please, everyone, show your book and your pen. This is going to be a time to take heaps and heaps of notes because we have a guru in the house tonight who wants to share with us. So before we get started, I just want to give, for you guys who haven't met her yet, this delightful lady a proper introduction. So I have her bio here, so I'm just going to read through it a little bit. So in the professional world, guys, Allana is a go-getter. If you haven't met her yet, she is a dynamite business professional. She's got vision, she's got determination, and a clear desire to always find a status quo. Hallelujah, right, guys? As newly appointed general manager for Australia and New Zealand, she is really excited to put her experience in sales and marketing and business management to the test for us. So she's has experience working on global leading health and wellness teams and fast-moving consumer brands. She is not only in the direct selling world, but also from the business world as well. So she comes from both sides, guys. She also, in her own time in the arena, has been a distributor in network marketing. So she's also speaking from personal experience. She gets where we're coming from in the field. And she's also been the owner of a multi-site retail outlet. So wow, wow, wow. So many tools in your belt that you get to share with us tonight from. So she knows the firsthand importance of finding balance in this busy modern world of noise, distraction, and demands. Oh my goodness, who has those things that they're battling every day, right? So objective, guys, she is here to lead us, to challenge us, and she wants to, be willing to be challenged because she knows that this is a fast-paced, moving, dynamic company with this incredible timing that we are all here at the very best time to be launching LifeVantage for the second time, but it's like a new thing, new comp plan, collagen, guys. This is the best time is right now. So she says she's always gravitated to roles that allow her to make valuable contributions to people's lives. She excels in finding the spark within people, making it her priority to coach and to mentor in order to surround herself with brilliant people who strive to think outside the box and leave this world better than we found it. I know that is so many of our mottos, guys, right? We want to leave the world better than we found it. So let's have a big welcome in the chat to our amazing Allana, who is here to just these creative consumer brand marketing ideas and tips and tricks that she's got up her sleeve to share with us all tonight. So without further ado, I will pass it on to you, Allana. Welcome.
Thank you, Candace. What an intro. Thank you so much. And so pumped. I'm seeing some incredible numbers on people who've given up their time tonight to be here. So I'm excited to be here with you. I'm excited to be with LifeVantage. I know I've joined and I've met a few of you, but I haven't yet had the privilege of meeting everybody yet. So I was kind of bummed that I couldn't get there to the Evolve event, but these things happen. So here I am anyway. And I know that there's such incredible things for us to achieve together. I do genuinely believe that we have such amazing opportunities right now, both with this company, with this industry, with the time and place that we are right now. I've got some fun stats and some interesting things to share with you just around some of the things that I've heard and how you can build that back into how to grow your business, because ultimately it's our success, your success together is what this is all about. So I think how this kind of came about, this actually came about with a conversation with Josie and I last week. We were kind of chatting about some things, and I know I've met with Granier, I've met with Charlotte, I've met with a few other different people, and we've had these conversations that kind of typically, I'm one of those people that it'll start here and it will end out there somewhere, but it'll be amazing along the way. I think one of those things that came out of this conversation that Josie and I were having was about, we're hearing a lot about it's just really tough at the moment. I've sort of exhausted my networks. I've done it. I've got, how many low hanging fruit can I get? I've done that. I've signed up my friends, I've signed up my family. And now I'm kind of I just don't know what's next. So I think that's sort of where we got to with this, like finding invisible threads and how we kind of talked about it from there. So if you're happy for me to share my screen, if you're happy for me to kick straight into it, then I will get straight into it. I have some notes in front of me, so I will refer to those as well, because I'm not that clever to get it into slideshow view and do all of that stuff all at the same time. So, you know, some of these things that, but let's put that down. So got my screen right. You can see it all good. Yep. Thumbs up. Yep. Amazing. Okay. So just a little bit about me. So my background, obviously, I've been in direct selling for about 6 years in the corporate side. I did have a distributorship for a small period of time, but my background is actually more in sales and marketing and business development, and more in that general management side of things. And that's where my passion lies. I think that somebody once described it to me as being an entrepreneur, which is, you know, that kind of, I want to take those risks, I want to do those things, but at the same time, I love being in that corporate environment where able to kind of flourish and drive strategies on a bigger level. So why I joined LifeVantage, I think one of the things that I saw with LifeVantage was this big opportunity that is right now in Australia and New Zealand, where how many of you, and I'd love to hear this in the chat as well, resonate with this, which is when I joined the company, I was sharing with ex-colleagues of mine, professional friends of mine in the networking industry, that I was joining LifeVantage. And their response was exactly that, blank. They had no idea who LifeVantage was. They have never heard of this brand. They didn't know, you know, these incredible products. They didn't know it was a NASDAQ listed company. They were like, where are they from? What is this all about? Like, never even heard of them. You know, good luck with that. And I thought, you know what? I love that. I love that it's the best kept secret, because that is an opportunity for us. I live in Adelaide, and I've traveled the world, and I've lived in Sydney. You know, I've spent lots of time interstate as well. But one of the things I love about coming back to Adelaide is it's a bit the same. It's that best kept secret that nobody really knows about. And so that lights me up inside. I'm like, do you know what? For Adelaide, I'm just going to keep it as like the little secret. But for LifeVantage, I see this as an incredible opportunity to share it with so many people. So that's a little bit about why I joined the company. My background, obviously, I've worked for e-commerce brands. I've worked for fast-moving consumer goods brands. Actually, it started right at the very start of my career. I started with an online florist, in fact, the biggest competitor to Interflora at the time. And it all came out of this idea of like, how do people send flowers, but they don't want to go into a florist, because for most typically males, it's an uncomfortable environment to go into. And so we then grew that into this huge, and it's now a multinational company, but it started from this great idea. And I think that's what I love about LifeVantage, is the idea that it started from Protandem, this idea of activation, this idea of oxidative stress, and it grew from there. Like it's grown. And so I look at like all of these different pillars that we have right now. What an amazing opportunity, right? You've got your health that you can help people with. You've got the opportunity that you can help people with. You've got the security of a NASDAQ listed company. Like, that excites me. That gives me the courage to be able to share a brand, share a product, and know that I'm not just sharing something out in the ether that is maybe not substantiated with TGA manufacturing facilities. It's not substantiated with great regulatory guidelines. In fact, Australia particularly has some of the most stringent guidelines in the world when it comes to regulatory and how to make products and how to market products. And so that's something to be really proud of, but at the same time, it's something that we really need to navigate as well. And so for a company to be able to do that, it excites me. It excites me that we have put the foundations in place. And now I've joined the company at the perfect time. And for anyone who's just recently joined the company, then this is the perfect time. It is the perfect time because this is right at the start of things to come. Anyone that's looking to join as well, this is the perfect opportunity to be right at the very start of this, because we're just getting started. Australia and New Zealand have such opportunities. I go through the figures. I'm literally building our financial plan for F 2024, and I'm looking at it at the moment and thinking, you know what, like these numbers just light up that fire in my belly to go, do you know what? We could do incredible things, and we will do incredible things. So I feel like we've got this amazing partnership right now. I know that it's just the start of things to come. And I think that this whole industry has got something really exciting coming at the moment. In terms of the trends and where everything's shifting. So I jump into this white bread. I heard a stat this morning that was white bread has increased in price by 70%. Okay, now that hurts, right? Because white bread is a staple item. I look at that and I think, how could a loaf of bread impact so many people's lives? But it does. People are now starting to make their eating habits are starting to change and starting to shift based purely on prices. So this is people consciously making decisions on, hey, things are starting to increase in Australia and New Zealand. Prices are starting to go up. Interest rates are on the rise. House prices are on the rise. Everything is on the rise, right? And so that in itself just feels like the purse gets a little tighter. So then that goes, for me, that then says, okay, there is an opportunity here to share this side hustle that we have, to share this opportunity with so many more people who are potentially open to that. In fact, the statistic was that only 250,000 people in 2020 had a side hustle. But yet over 47% of the Australian population, I'm sorry, I don't have New Zealand statistics for the Kiwis on the call, but over 47% are interested in a side hustle, are interested in supplementing their income. But how do they do that? Right? So this is that opportunity. How many people want financial freedom? How many people want to shift that? Right? Now, the next one, this one really excites me. This is the future of work, because we get a lot, like, we understand, the implications of, of pricing and everything like that. But what I really look at is the trends when it comes to technology, when it comes to workplaces, right? Workplaces where we're seeing new behaviors come in. And this is something that we're seeing as we start to see the new generations come into the workforce. And we're starting to see some of those older generations having to stay in the workforce for longer. Okay, so suddenly your target audience is far broader than what you ever considered before. Okay. And we'll get to this as we go on, but in terms of then thinking about this in terms of those invisible threads, okay? So we look at new behaviors, right? So people are suddenly not jumping to an organization because they need a job, because they've finished school or because they've finished uni. They're suddenly sitting back saying, well, is this the right organization for me? And we're actually, any of you that aren't yet empty nesters because you've got maybe children in their 20s or even in their 30s still living at home, it's because the statistic shows that we're actually more inclined to stay at home. We're more inclined not to take the job that we once would take, because it's no longer about us as employees being grateful for the job, but it's actually about employers having to shift the tables around to say, we're thankful that you turned up to work today. We're thankful that you chose to choose this organization to work at. So what does that mean for you? That means that people are becoming more picky, more selective, which means that they also have this opportunity that you can present, right? Which is not necessarily about the typical streams of income. I know that when I finished school, it was very much around, a respect for the organization, respect that they will give you an opportunity. And sure, there's still that gratitude there, but it was like, take the job, do the hard yards, earn the respect. We've had all these conversations before about it. Whereas now it's like, what, you've been in a job more than 12 months, like flip, let's go, like, let's take on the new thing, let's change. Change is a good thing. I look at technology, everything is on the cloud now, right? But what that means is that the opportunity of the internet, right? Who would have thought that 10 years ago, let's just say 10 years ago, you would have shared as much about your life that you do now online, right? It's a little daunting to think about what we share online, how much we open up ourselves, right? Suddenly we can't remember a memory of what happened 12 months ago, but we are reminded by Facebook of what happened, right? Everything is out there, right? And so what that then means is also there's an opportunity for those invisible threads because people are actively sharing that information. No longer do you need to, actually engage and talk to somebody or run into them in the street. You're actually already across everything that's happening in their lives. So again, those invisible threads. Oh, you just got a new puppy. Let's talk about that new puppy. Oh, congratulations. You're due with a baby. Oh, congratulations on that engagement. Oh, that's really exciting news. Well done on the starting of a new job. And all the platforms are giving you different information on these people. So again, it's about those platforms of technology. It's like, don't just use one, don't just use two, engage them all. The millennial workforce, again, those new attitudes that we talked about, the expectations, the ways of working, it's like, what's in it for me? Why should I come and work for you? What does LifeVantage offer for people, right? Incredible events, incredible travel opportunities, work anywhere you want, have the backing of a NASDAQ listed company, don't have to worry about cash flow, right? I've had my own organizations, I've had my own multi-site retail organizations. I know what it's like to lay awake at night and think about whether we can afford to pay our staff because whether we have cash flow or not, or whether everything is held up, or whether we can pay our rent. Millennials and the new generations are starting to shift through that. And even the baby boomers, those people are already, they've felt what I felt. They're like, maybe I'm not up for that anymore. But what about this side hustle? What about this opportunity? Mobility, work from anywhere, anytime, any device, anything, right? It's right there at your fingertips. And globalization, I want you to really think about globalization in terms of the world, right? I think when I hear those words of I've exhausted my networks, I'm like, you haven't got the right networks. Let's go find new networks for you. Where's your new network? What's coming in new, right? It's not your suburb. It's not your netball club. It's not your local. It's now going wider. It's now, I want you to think about, okay, if you're I have a puppy, so I'll often refer to the puppy. It's a cavoodle. Cavoodle. So I'm in the cavoodle group of South Australia, but I'm also in the national cavoodle group. And then I'm even looking at what's happening in America with cavoodles. I've connected with cavoodles. So there's all those invisible threads there. There's that trend going back there, but I'm not just looking at my own backyard, because this is the beautiful thing that technology brings, is the opportunity for you to share and connect with people all over the world. And this is the statistic that scares me the most. We know that 87% of women make the health decisions when it comes to their household, their entire household. We also know that 40% of women are not allowed to work remotely, right? As opposed to only 25% of men. Now, when we talk about COVID, when we talk about freedom, when we talk about all of those things that we're looking for right now, right? And how many of you see this opportunity, right? Which is, look at what we've got right in our hands right now, which is this amazing LifeVantage business opportunity, these amazing products, and how you could shift that trend. So you're in the right place, you're at the right time, you're doing the right thing. So what next, right? We've got over 250,000 people, as I said, over 250,000 people in Australia have a side hustle. It's not many, right? With a population of only over, I think it's about 24 million in Australia, and I think it's about 3 million in New Zealand. Anyway, correct me if I'm wrong, but ABS, so the Australian Bureau of Statistics, found that 6.5% of Australians are now working a second job. Now that's a 2023 statistic, and it's up 4.3% from last June. So these people are starting to look for their extra income. But I want you to think about it in terms of why you joined LifeVantage, right? Was it necessarily always about the cash? There's so many other opportunities. There's so many other things that come in, right? I want you to think about it in terms of creativity. Was it an opportunity for you to ignite your creativity? Hosting events, having a community, building your own brand. Was it an opportunity for you to create community or connect with community? Were you isolated? Did you crave connection? Or were you looking for collaboration with people? Right? It's not necessarily about the cash, it's about all of the things that come together. But I want to ask you right now, are you stuck? Do you feel like you've kind of done as much as you can and you're not quite sure how to go next? Because that is definitely something that many of us feel. whether it's stuck in a job, whether it's stuck in your business, whether it's like, I'm just not sure where to go next, what to do next, how to shift it. This is where invisible threads come in. So I want you to think about it in terms of the world of algorithms, hashtags and followers, because it's all about all of that. There's something that drops out, which is that connection, that human connection. And something that's really beautiful about LifeVantage is that there's this melting pot of human connection with events, great products, but also this opportunity to tap into the online social retail environment as well. Okay, so there's all those things that can build together. Okay, so I want you to think about it in terms of that human connection. Okay, they're not buying what you do, they buy why you do it. Okay, now I throw to this. So this is a picture. This was probably one of the first photos that was taken of me with somebody at LifeVantage. And I hadn't yet, launched it out to the ether of where I had gone or announced it to anyone. But I want to tell you about my very first connection with Josie. And anyone, all of you know how beautiful Josie is in terms of that endearing person that brings you in, right? So I've walked into the room. I'm slightly nervous. I've arrived after, I thought I would catch the train out to Blacktown, but then having navigated everything, I was like, don't think I'm going to do that. Took the safe option, got in an Uber, arrived at Blacktown station, jumped out, walked around, found the area where I was supposed to meet Josie. I've walked up the stairs and I'm like, I think I should be here. And you know what? When I walked in, I'd seen Josie online, I'd seen a photo of her, but the very first thing that she did when she walked into the room, she was like, I love your dress. Where's that from? It looks so beautiful on you. I was like, oh, it's from Country Road. She's like, is it the latest season? I'm like, yeah, it is. I only picked it up the other day. Boom, straight away. There we go. We already knew that both of us loved Country Road, right? Loved fashion, right? Next question was, do you have any pets? I'm like, yeah, she'd already stalked me, right? I'm like, yeah, I've got a dog, right? I've got a dog. She's like, what's his name? I'm like, Alfred. She's like, what is he? I'm like, he's a cavoodle. She's like, oh my God, I've got a cavoodle too. Boom, there's another one, right? Then we're off talking, right? We've got cavoodles, we've got Country Road in common already. And then the next one was, she said, do you like to travel? I was like, I love to travel. Right? I love travel. That's one of the reasons why I love this business, is that I get to travel with you guys as well. And then we started talking about our favorite places, where have we been in the world? And we had all these things in common with each other. They're invisible threads. There was nothing there in common when I first walked into the room. But that's an invisible thread. It's those things. So I want you, and I wish I could do this with you in person, but and maybe Candace, would you be happy to do it if you just turn your sound on, and I'll stop sharing for a minute so we don't have to. Okay, so we've literally got 30 seconds, right? 30 seconds, question, you answer, you ask a question, I answer it. We've got to find 3 things in common in 30 seconds. Do you reckon we can do it?
Am I asking the questions or are you asking the questions?
So you ask a question, then I ask a question, then I ask a question. So when you answer, then you ask another question back.
Okay. Sounds good.
You want me to kick off?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Let me think about this. Ready? What's your favorite cuisine?
Oh, Italian.
Oh, I love Italian. Have you been to Italy?
I have been to Italy last year. It was amazing.
Where did you go in Italy?
Oh, all over the place. We went to Rome and to Venice, and oh my gosh, it was amazing. I was with my daughter. It was the most incredible, once in a lifetime kind of trip. Have you been to Italy?
I've been to Rome. I've been to Venice. I love Rome. How beautiful is Rome?
Oh, it's amazing. What was your favorite part?
Or what was that? I just lost you. You just dropped out for a minute.
What was your favorite part?
Oh, my favorite part, probably the food, pizza. Did you eat pizza in Venice?
Oh my gosh, every day I think we ate pizza. There's no calories, right, when you're on holidays?
No, that's right. And have you always lived in Australia?
No, so originally I was from Canada and I moved here 9.5 years ago and no looking back. So yes, love it here. How about you? Have you always been in Australia?
I lived in Germany for 12 months, but I've always wanted to go to Canada. It's one of the places that I just love. So
Go in September. It's the best time of year to go. You get to see all the autumn colors, but there's still snow on the mountains. And yes, everyone's just super excited to just see cooler weather. And yeah, you get to warm up and rug up and wear all those fun, winter fashions kind of thing that we don't often get to wear other than occasionally here in Australia. So
love that. And so do you ski?
yes, well, I used to, not so much in Australia. They kind of, don't really have the same mountain angles, but yeah, I'm keen to go to New Zealand. Actually, I hear they have great skiing down there. Have you been to New Zealand?
I have been to New Zealand, and I was literally saying that Queenstown is probably one of my most favorite places in the entire world. And I skydived from over Queenstown, but I have the funniest story to tell you about skiing that I will tell you one day, about skiing and the chairlift, and a really bad situation that I had in Switzerland. But we still laugh about it to this day. But anyway,
I can't wait. I can't wait to.
Thank you, Candace. That was wicked, because what that showed, and I want to highlight this to you, right? So when you're talking about invisible threads, and I genuinely did just put Candace on the spot there. That was nothing. There was no prep to that whatsoever, right? But so now what I want you to think about is terms of those threads. So all those threads that we threw out, right? So there was a love of food, right? You could see that was ignited. There was a love of travel, right? So now literally in my mind, I'm like, okay, so Candace and I now have these connections, right? In terms of, I picked up that she has a daughter, right? I picked up that she lived in Canada, so she likes skiing. So now suddenly I'm looking at all these opportunities, right? So now if Candace, and we'll go through this, but depending on where Candace sits in terms of the funnel for me, right, is then how I look at how I'm going to target her. But I know that when I tell that story of skiing in my next Instagram story, right, I'm going to go back and get those photos and I'm going to start posting those over the next 30 days. And you watch Candace engage with me. You watch her start commenting, right? Because she knows that I've done it for her, right? But also know how many other people, and I saw some comments, I haven't got all the comments open at the moment, but you watch how someone else wrote like that they love Vancouver. Wayne wrote, I love Vancouver in September. So suddenly when I use hashtag Canada, hashtag skiing, hashtag Vancouver in my stories, I'm targeting that one story, that one invisible thread that I'm bringing Candace in. So she's suddenly down my funnel. So she's warm. So I talk about cold being up the top here, and they come down warm, hot, and hot is when they're ready to join the business, purchase the products, whatever the call to action is that you're trying to get them to do. But I know that Candace is further down, but I'm also warming up the funnel up the top here. So suddenly Wayne and I now are going to start a conversation about Vancouver. Hey, Wayne, what's your favorite part of Vancouver? Like, so I can start to then, all these DMs are starting to go off, right? It's also building my content for the next time in terms of, okay, I'm thinking about going to Vancouver. I'm thinking about going to Canada, guys. Tell me, like, what's my poll? Where should I go? What should I wear? Where should I eat? All those things is all content. Right? And there's all those invisible threads that are coming through. And so that's what Candace and I just did right there. And that's what Josie did as well to me that day. And you know what? In that moment, and you can use this at events as well, right? This is a great one, right? Is that you bring somebody in. So, you know, that person that's in the back corner, like on their phone, because they're not quite sure, because they're feeling really awkward because they don't know anyone, right? Bring them in. Right? Bring them in, find an invisible thread. Is it their shoes? Is it something about them? Is it the location of where you guys are? Is it your first event? Or do you remember your first event that you went to? How do you bring them in, right? And then there's these invisible threads there that keep building, right? And I'm watching the chat now go off about Canada, right? In terms of these awesome things that keep coming. It's such an amazing opportunity to build these threads. So think about that in terms of, and if you can do it face to face with somebody for 30 seconds and boom, you've got it, right? And you start to warm yourself up and you start to do it, and then you drive that back to your content. Because remember, this is all about building, how do you build your networks? Okay, so we've done that one moment. Okay, so now what do we do with that? So if I go back to sharing my screen, Okay. So again, there is a purpose for everyone that you meet. Okay, so I want you to think about that one person. So the one interaction that I've had with Candace, and then all those other people. And sure, some of those people are going to test you, right? This is the thing about social media. There's going to be some comments like, I hate Canada. Canada is not very nice. Oh, why would you want to go to New Zealand? Oh, why are you posting about food? It doesn't matter, right? It's still an opportunity to turn them around. Right. And there'll also be that person that brings out the very best in you. I know that when Josie talks about Candace, right, it lights Josie up as well, right? Because it's an opportunity to build something new, to grow, to learn. And so bringing out the best of you. You know, Grania and I had an awesome lunch and, you know, overlooking Brisbane, this beautiful hotel, the Emporium Hotel, when we drank out of these cool bird cocktails and things, but we were chatting and we learned then in that moment, she knows that I'm petrified of birds. And so we were sort of talking about that, you know, we have so many things that flowed from that. And then I watched Grania in that moment when she talked about the opportunities that are with New Zealand right now and how that lights her up to see like those people, yeah, many of whom aren't in her team, but many people who she just wants to see grow. And that brings out something in her as well that then she's able to take back to her team, you know, as well. So there's such opportunities there. So think about it in terms of then your invisible threats. How do they help you? Okay, so we talked about it in terms of, are you trying to find new people, right? Are you trying to, an excuse to reach out to your established networks, but also it's an opportunity to reaffirm a connection, a friendship, a partnership with somebody else, okay? So you've got the brand new networks, and let's talk about it in terms of that opportunity with travel, okay? So I want you to think about this in terms of, it doesn't matter your social media platforms, okay? It doesn't matter what you're using. If you're using TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, gosh, there's so many of them, but you know, there's the main ones. Think about that in terms of all of these, right? Find new networks. So we talked about Canada, right? We talked about a love of travel. So now what I'm going to do is to find new networks. I'm going to go into all the travel groups, right? I'm going to start my content. I'm going to start showing my content based on that, right? Which is, okay, there's some opportunities there with travel that I can share. People love some travel stories, right? But it's also about the groups that you join. So where are those groups that you're looking for, right? I can tell you about one of a very successful network marketer that I know, one of the very, very top earners in Australia that I know, built, and many of them, in fact, in their whole team, built their entire businesses in online groups, going into groups and posting in there, right? Finding connections in there. You know, who loves to travel? Who's been here? Who's been there? You go into health groups. You can go into wellness groups, you know, join all those groups. There's all brand new networks there for you. If you've got a cat, go into the cat group. If you've got a particular cat, go into that particular cat group. If you've got, you know, I say if you've got a, you know, if you play netball, go into the netball groups. You know, look at those, even those local groups. There's community groups that are buy nothing, you know, it's this whole recycle, buy nothing, you know, share, you know, people are there actively looking for communities. What's the excuse to reach out to your established networks? I want you to think about how you're commenting on your established network. So who here already has over 1,000 friends that they just don't connect with, right? They're probably not seeing your content. You haven't spoken to them in so long, right? But there's an opportunity to connect with them. There's an opportunity to chat with them, right? Yeah, buy, swap, sell groups is wise. Yep, I've just seen that in the chat. When I think about it in terms of then those established networks, comment on that engagement that they've just posted, right? And then connect with them. You know what that's going to do? It's going to bring you up into their feed. Okay, so we talk about algorithms, we talk about that. Get them having you back active at the forefront, right? Which is, you want them to be seeing you and seeing you post about whatever you're posting about. Okay, so commenting on their posts, liking their content, sharing something in yours that, you know, you might tag them in it. You know, if there's something, if there's that connection there, when I might go back through my archive of photos and then tag Candace and be like, here's that funny chairlift story. Wait till we catch up next and I'll tell you about it, right? So again, like I've tagged her, so I've brought her back into my social media feed. And reaffirm a connection as well. So sometimes it is like people just drop out because they haven't engaged with you for a while. So again, keep that fresh. Like, comment, use hashtags as well. Finding new networks is a great one, using hashtags, right? Wherever you are. In Instagram particularly, Instagram works really effectively because people search for hashtags, right? I search for hashtags all the time. That's how in Instagram, I use hashtags as my search mechanism, right? When I'm looking up, so yeah, coffee in Brisbane, best coffee in Brisbane. Like I'll use hashtags for that. I'll look for that to find that. Even, you know, when I go to a particular place, so if I'm going to Victoria Island, for example, I will look up hashtag Victoria Island. I will look up Bouchard Gardens and see who's posted in there, right? And suddenly you've got those connections. It's a great opportunity to connect. If they've posted quite a bit about that particular region, reach out to them, ask them about that. There's an opportunity for you to connect there and build those networks. Okay. So think about it in terms of your social media content, in terms of your reels, in terms of everything. Think about it in terms of the groups you join, the hashtags you use, the content you post. So remember, you've got stories, you've got reels, you've got lives, you've got comments, you've got posts. Oh, you're feeling exhausted and overwhelmed right now, but that's okay. All you got to do, pick your platforms, right? Just pick them and be consistent. So you know what? You can just go in and say, do you know what? I'm really going to be focused on Facebook right now. Or actually, Instagram is all about finding my network. So as I said, use those hashtags, right? Search for things, and you're able to then also come up in people's feed, right? When you're posting hashtag collagen, hashtag collagen, hashtag collagen, people are like, she's talking about collagen quite a bit. I'm interested in collagen. I want to share, I want to talk to her. Right. So use that to then bring them into Facebook, bring them into your groups, bring them into a DM messenger with in Messenger. Right. So you can also use that. So don't feel overwhelmed like, oh my God, I've got to find so much content. I've got to post on LinkedIn. I've got to post on here. I've got to post on there. It's like, just use them to get people through your funnels, work out where they're going to be. With social media content, I want to say a couple of things to you, which is, I want you to profile yourself. I say this to Josie, and I am proud of her because she's taken on board has anyone seen the balcony project that Josie's posting about at the moment? Yeah, right. I'm seeing a couple of you nod. So this balcony project, right? So her and I, when we're back at that first time that we met, I had a chat with her about, we were sort of moving a couple of things around in the office that she was just opening, and you know, and she was asking for some advice, and I love renovating, and her and I struck up that about renovating. And then she was like, oh, I'm doing this balcony project. And I'm like, tell me about this balcony project. She's like, well, I haven't started yet, but yeah, I'm like, I want to see every single bit of it posted online. Take me along for that journey. And I want to see you. I want to see you in the kitchen. Like, if you love cooking, cook with me every night. When I'm sitting back in my lounge room, like, bring me into your kitchen and don't be afraid. When you're shopping for the best ingredient, share those ingredients. Those of you in New Zealand, you have got some of the most incredible ingredients, right? Incredible products. Take people on that journey. If cooking is your jam, then take them on the journey of the products right through to the kitchen. Be vulnerable, all right? It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to show up no matter how you're feeling today, right? It's okay to share those things, right? A bit like my ring light just went flat right now. Just ran out of charge. So I'm not as bright as what I once was. But it's okay, right? There's an opportunity there. Just build it. Just go with it, right? And it's okay if things go bad, right? It's okay to go, oh, I don't really know what I'm doing right now. I'll be back in a moment, right? Be vulnerable, be real, right? And remember that content has an expiry date, right? It doesn't hang around, right? So it just changes, right? But be consistent. People want to see you being consistent. The platforms want to see you being consistent as well, right? You need to show up all the time in people's feeds. So don't go comment on everyone's feeds. Don't then drop out, right? Because if I've gone to the effort of posting that story for Candace, and then I'm commenting with Candace and I'm talking to her, I still want to stay in her feed. And to do that, I need to be consistent. I need, it's a bit like the product, when we talk about when we sell product, when we share product, if your product arrives and it's this huge box and it's 3 months supply and you pop it in your cupboard and then you forget about it, right? It's exactly the same with social media. It's like, oh, I've got this awesome connection with Candace and I've gone to all the effort of making this connection, and then it's like, just put it in the cupboard, right? And it drops away. So it's like, you want that always at the forefront. That's why you always want your people on subscription. That's why you always want your people getting their deliveries every month, right? Because it suddenly becomes a part of their lifestyle. It becomes a part of everything that they are about, right? So it's in their feed, it's in their life. Life Vantage is always there. And be a thought leader, right? So don't be afraid to share what's going on in your life, because you know something that I don't know. I've never been to Vancouver. I've never been to Canada. You suddenly have more information on that than I do. So don't be afraid to share that. And the last one is show me you. Okay. So I want you to think about this in terms of your profile picture, right? Your profile picture for all of your platforms. What is your social media platform? What does your social media profile picture look like? Is it something that's warm and inviting? Can I connect with you in that photo? Can I connect with you in those stories, right? And it's okay that you're not perfect. It's okay that you're not the latest influencer and got, all the ring lights and everything going down. That's actually really appealing. I used to work with influencers quite a bit in one of my FMCG brands, with my fast moving consumer goods brands. And we used to find that those nano influencers and micro influencers, that's you and me. That's the people that have less than 1,000 followers, are actually more influential than those people with 27 million followers, because those people, right, are so far away from me, right? They're so far out in the ether that I don't connect with them like I can connect with you. When I come into your kitchen, when I'm invited to, watch you cooking dinner, when I'm invited to you walking the dog, your local area, right? I can connect with you on a different level. And suddenly when you start talking about collagen, I trust you. I trust you on a different level because we have a different connection than what that beautiful, perfect person does, who's probably getting paid lots and lots of money. See, there's my skepticism that comes in. You're doing this I believe that you're doing this from the bottom of your heart. This is the best thing that you believe, that you want to change people's lives for the better, not for your pocket, right? So there's the skepticism coming in for me already. So suddenly I trust you more than I trust that influencer. Okay. But I need you to show me you. So when I'm sitting back watching, right, on my phone, I need you to open up and show me who you are, what you're doing. Take me on your journey of life. And so I talk about it with this one, lashes, right? I had a conversation, Emma Savage, actually. Emma Savage and I met, we were chatting about, she was talking about social media content. And, this is somebody who I'm like, you know what, you should have it down pat. Like, you've got so many stories, you've got so much content, She's like, I just don't know what to post about. I'm like, let me look at your diary for the next week. Like, what's going on? She's like, I just had my lashes done. I was like, so tell me about lashes, right? I've never had lashes before. I'd love to get lashes. Talk to me about them. So I'm suddenly starting to ask questions of her. What does it look like to get lashes done? There's a story opportunity. Share with me. Take me into that appointment. I've never had it done. Is it going to hurt? All these people that are sitting back with me going, I know exactly what you're talking about, Allana. You can't swim, you can't sauna. So this is my story. You can't swim, you can't sauna, you can't live life. You've got to brush your eyelashes every night. They look great for 5 minutes, but then they don't. They're going to take 90 minutes every fortnight for me to get them done. All these things. And I'm like, can't even be bothered, right? But for Emma, who gets them done, I'm like, so take me on that story, open up, like invite me in. And you know what? There's this incredible thing right at the end right at the end, which is, I don't need lashes anymore because I use collagen. Right? You see where I took you? I took you all the way from something like totally random, like just come and walk in my life. Come, I'm going to jump in the car. I've got a lash appointment right now. Damn, it's 90 minutes. My gosh. But, you know, it's a little bit of a luxury. It's a little bit of indulgence. I don't know what it's all about. But, you know, this is, so Emma's there. She's got it. Show me. Oh, okay. So I'm watching. So either I go with one. Oh, Emma, where do you get them done? Let me connect with you. Where do you get your lashes done? How do I find a good lash technician? What am I looking for? So I'm suddenly reaching out to her, or I'm watching her next story. How frequently does she get them done, right? Or then we go to that other extreme, which is like, what does she do? Her skin looks fabulous because I'm seeing these close-ups. Her skin looks fabulous. What's she doing? What's she taking? All those things. Or suddenly then she takes her lashes off and I'm like, boom, there's another story. She's got me. Why is she taking her lashes off? Every single thing is an opportunity for a content. Okay. But you've got to take people on the journey, because you're thinking, and I do it, I know it, right? No one's interested in me going to get my lashes done, right? I'll do my content when I get home and I look beautiful and I've got my ring light set up and I'm in my background. And now, okay, now I've got nothing to talk about. Or like, let me tell you about collagen, right? Nobody wants to hear about that. Right. But you can get into people's lives and you can be integrated in there. And it doesn't matter. It could be somebody, trust me, there are people watching you all over the world, right? People everywhere watching you. So think about that, right? I think I've just got a question here. I added hashtags on Facebook posts. Helpful with Instagram, really just as important, just important on Instagram. They are more important on Instagram because that's how they flow. But what it does do is that it builds people in. So you, at the bottom of a post, when you have those hashtags down the bottom, there's still that opportunity to bring people in because they're starting to look at what you're posting and it's like, okay, why is she posting about that? So you can still use hashtags and you can still connect your content from Facebook to Instagram as well, or Instagram to Facebook as well, so you can duplicate your content. Okay. So I'll leave you there. I'm going to stop sharing, but I want you to drop it into the comments what you're going to try and do, okay? What you're going to do, which is something new. What is that thing that you're going to try that you've never done before? It could be you're going to go live every day, right? Every day I want to see that, right? If you're going to do that, post on Instagram, right? Every day, post on Instagram. Do a story, do a reel, think about that content, go back and share more in your life. Yeah, I'm loving that. Share more in your life than your products. Remember, people don't want to buy a product. They'll buy you before they buy the product. Okay. But you've got to build that trust. If I'm there every time, like, oh, look at me, buy this product, buy this product, buy this product. People are like, like I'm unfollowing, I'm out, right? Talk to people, because people talk, they talk back and you watch how they connect with you. Exactly like this comments are coming up here. You don't think that I got onto this here and was like maybe I don't have something powerful to say. Like maybe like the imposter syndrome jumped in. Maybe like I'm not good enough for them. Maybe I'm not cut out for Life Vantage. Right? All those things went through my brain. So if I was in your shoes, I would be 5 minutes before I came on live, I would be doing a live about that, right? You've got so many things going on, right? Suddenly all those people that have a fear of public speaking, all those people that have a fear of going on stage, watch you and don't just do the perfect, oh, look at me, I'm on stage, look at me with my microphone, like I've got this, I'm rocking it. Talk them through. How did you get there? How'd you pick your outfits? How'd you get to the venue? Like they want to go on a journey with you. Right? Because believe it or not, someone is dreaming of that opportunity that you have and something lights them up that you're doing. It could be being on stage. It could be travel. It could be your amazing hair. It could be the fact that you get to do your food shopping in the middle of the day because you're not in the office, right? It's all those things that I've just said and more. Right? there is an invisible thread there for each and every one of us that I've just thrown out, that you've grabbed, and you've grabbed different ones. But if I'm only throwing out the same invisible thread, collagen, 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 I'm only hitting the same few people. And then we go back to, I'm stuck. I don't have anything in my networks, right? So throw out all those invisible threads and bring them back. And you just never know what someone is looking for. It might be a product. It might be an opportunity. It might just be a friendship for now. I said to someone the other day, they're looking for a big team, because we're all looking for the big team to come in, to join us. It's like, they might just be sitting back because at some point in time, they're happy right now. No different like with my last organization. I was happy, right? If LifeVantage contacted me a year ago, I would have said no. But it just happened that they contacted me at the right time. They were there at the right time. And it's exactly the same, no matter whether it's the big team or whether it's that one customer that's gonna buy collagen. It doesn't matter, but you've got to always be there, right? Mix up your content, keep it going, and keep it consistent. Just keep posting. And it's okay to make errors. Okay, so I might leave it there, Candace. If you want to, I'm happy to open up if there's any questions or anything. I'm happy to answer by all means. Yeah, I think I've thrown out probably so much information and blown people's minds in terms of thinking about things, but I hope it's ignited something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. I love that. I think, the key takeaway for me is just being able to take people on a journey that life, our life aren't perfect. I think so often social media shows the highlight reel of all the, perfect moments, and it makes it artificial. It doesn't create that connection of trust. And I think when you build connection, when you build relationship, you're building trust. And then when people need something in their health, or personal life, they're going to look to you and say, I trust you as an expert. I love that you said, the big influencers with millions of followers, you're not going to reach out to them because you don't know them. They're not relatable in the same way. And so I think that's the most beautiful part of what we have to share is the journey, because our like-minded, like-hearted people that are on this call right now, who are going to watch this replay, right? That is our hearts. We want to make the world a better place than we find it. We want to help people get up off the sidelines and back into the life that they want to be living. And so being real, being relatable, being, making mistakes, like you said, like laughing at that, it shows people, hey, wait, they're being vulnerable. They're being real. I can probably ask them a question. They're not going to judge me. They're not going to think I'm silly. They're not going to, right? So really, absolutely brilliant training. So many nuggets, so many notes that I took, so much information. Watch this again and again and again, guys, because there's just, every time you listen to it, different parts are going to jump out that are going to be relevant to what you're doing at that time on social media and connecting with your people and increasing your connections. Absolutely brilliant. So thank you guys so much for your time tonight. I know we're getting close to an hour. Allana does have a few minutes for questions if you guys want to, just quickly unmute and put your hand up. Yeah.
On the chat, Candice, just read the chat.
Yeah, I'm just looking if there's any questions in the chat. Love the invisible threads concept. Yep. Wondering how to go about getting new content. Oh yeah, I've been wondering about how to get new content. Yeah, so go back through those archives, go back through, have a look at like all those stories, all those things, and map it out, right? I don't think there's any questions, just but I'm more than happy at any point in time. Anyone reach out to me, you can reach out to me on Messenger. You can, my profile, oh, that's one thing, like my profiles are completely open, right? Like you guys, so you can stalk each other, you can stalk other people, right? Which is all about finding those invisible threads, right? I remember getting in the car with Charlotte, and Charlotte would already primed, like she was already primed with questions like, okay, tell me about your favorite place. You clearly love to travel. Like, tell me about that. Like she had already done that research to say, okay, I've already got those invisible threads there. So there was no awkwardness. That was the first time that we'd met. So, I think there's such an opportunity there. Yeah, is it possible to simultaneously? Yes, you can post to Facebook and Insta. So in your profile, you can literally just put in there that you want to share everything with your so in Instagram, you want to share everything to Facebook and to use Instagram. Instagram is a great one because it has your filters, it has everything in there. So you're able to rectify your content, like fix it up, edit it, do all those things, put music to it, do all those beautiful things, pretty much in Instagram. The other one I would say is Canva. If you're not using Canva, then check out Canva because it is the best free tool for creating social media assets. Yeah, so sorry, Bridget. You meant simultaneously go live on Instagram and Facebook. No, usually what I would do is I would go live on Instagram and then I share onto, repost it onto Facebook. But I might have to check on that one. Let me come back to you because I will actually check it out. I don't think you can, but I will confirm it and come back.
Awesome.
No. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anna's just said you need to use two separate devices. So, but you can create the content in Instagram and then share it onto Facebook. So rather than doing two devices. So, yeah.
That's great.
There are a couple of programs that you can save a Facebook Live and you can repost them. But I'm not sure whether they're free or not. OBS is one that we use. So yeah, but don't get I would say just create your content and share it accordingly, and that should probably be sufficient for now. I don't want to confuse you too much. Yeah, or restream. Yeah, it's a great one. But again, we get caught up in algorithms, we get caught up in hashtags and all those things, right? I just want to see you posting, see you sharing, and do it every single day. And if you can do 3 to 5 posts per day, right? That's what we want to see. It sounds like a lot, but it's not.
Yeah, consistency. And not everybody sees everything you post every single time. And so it feels like a lot to you, but you can be repurposing. Somebody said in the chat, right? Repurposing stuff, that I posted a year ago, I could be re-sharing that now. I don't have to constantly keep recreating stuff. So as you take people on the journey of your life, you don't have to be recreating, content on the product or the service stuff that we're doing. That can be the recycle part while we're being creative with our day-to-day stuff. So I love that.
Yeah.
Amazing, guys. So good. Thank you so much, Allana, for being so willing and available to just share this hot training tonight. So many great tips. And I'm excited to see everybody's social media is just go crazy as we just get really loud and really proud about who we are and what we're all about. So amazing, guys. Thank you so much for your time. Lots of love in the chat for Allana. So thank you so much.